when students are forced to think about math at a deeper level, a richer level, a more engaging level, they're going to not only build habits of mind and patterns of thought that lend themselves toward creative thinking, critical thinking, building logical habits of mind, but also important things that aren't necessarily part of the standard curriculum in school, such as grit, perseverance, the idea that it's okay to sit with a problem and not understand how to do it right away, not understand, how to get everything right the first time that you try it and get it right quickly. So I think it's a lot of students' experiences in school that, hey, the smartest kids are the ones that can get everything right and that can get everything right very quickly. Well, what we try to tell students or teach students is that it's actually the problems that you can't get correct right away that are the interesting ones, that are the ones that are worthwhile in terms of solving, in terms of sitting with and letting them rattle around your brain a little bit because they challenge you, because they're difficult. And that mirrors life, to blow this up and to expand it as to why it's so important on a global level. If you think about, the purpose of education writ large, right? Like at its highest level, it's to give knowledge to our youth so that they can confidently and productively go off into society when they become adults and lead meaningful, productive lives, have meaningful, productive careers, carry on in the systems of medicine, science, governance, these kinds of things, right? In order to get there, you need to go through the process of education and through schooling. Not only do you pick up a lot of content knowledge along the way, but you also become enculturated, you become socialized, you learn how to communicate with others, how to collaborate, how to problem solve and do all these things. But the content level knowledge that we're imparting to most of our students on a regular basis, and I'm not saying every school does this, I don't want to make the schools out in our country to be the boogeymen, if you will, because I know a lot of schools out there and a lot of teachers that are doing great work. But it's not inaccurate to say that more work can be done. And here's why it's so important. Because if that's what we're putting at stake on our kids when it comes to education, like you're going to be the next generation to go out and solve the world's problems, to fight the new challenges of the day and to take on these new careers and jobs. Well, if you think about the pace of change and how quickly the world is morphing and transforming due to technology and due to advances across the board, it's not entirely clear what careers are going to be available 15 years from now for a student that's in grade school. So when you're faced with that challenge and that realization, now you're thinking to yourself as an educator, okay, well, if I need to educate my kids today for a future that's uncertain, well, what skills and what knowledge is going to be the most important to them? Like, what can I give to them today that's going to be the most valuable to them tomorrow? And the answer is not rote procedural memorization. In other words, this finite skill set that can only be applied to a certain particular kind of problem. And then if you're never faced with that particular problem again, now that skill set is effectively rendered useless and ineffective. So instead, the more important thing to impart to our kids is this concept of problem solving, because that's what the world's going to be littered with. I mean, 15, 20 years from now, the problems that we're going to be faced with, the challenges that we're going to be faced with on any scale, whether it's, climate change at a global level or something small like, hey, how do I get this deal done for my company on a personal level? Well, there might not be a nice, neat roadmap for that. There's not a cookie cutter answer or a standard procedural process that you can turn to figure out, okay, well, I've memorized how to navigate my way through this, and here's what I'm going to do, right? If we did that and we operated that way, we'd all be machines. But because we're not, because the world is complex and ever-changing, we need to give human beings that problem-solving toolkit, and that's the thing that is going to be most impactful for them throughout the rest of their lives.
Thank you for tuning into the Education Marketing Insider by Grow Enrollments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Stay tuned.